What was to you the biggest difference between mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu? What are some interesting differences, some interesting insights, even just about the grappling within both sports?
So the biggest difference for me between MMA and Jiu-Jitsu is first is the speed. Like Jiu-Jitsu, like a 10 minutes match, I can take my time. There's no dangers that forces me to move fast. MMA, you have to be 100% sharp and fast from first second of the fight. Because punches are coming, you can get knocked out anytime. One mistake, you're out. Jiu-Jitsu don't have that. I don't have to worry about quick submissions because it's all about the way my body is positioned. My grips is easy to avoid, it's easier to see it coming. It's like a quick submission, a surprise. It only works if you make a mistake, if you're not correct positioning. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's impossible. It's extremely difficult. MMA is not. One split second mistake, and when the person comes, you have to respond. You have to match his pace. You can't slow down, but it's like you're forced to respond. So it's a much faster. It's a lot more physical, a lot more, and you need to be physical, much better conditioning, faster. It's explosiveness. It's much harder.
Is it possible in MMA to calm things down?
If they change the rules, yeah. 5-minute rules, no.
I see. So I just meant actually technically speaking, is there ways to take an opponent that's being exceptionally aggressive?
You can clinch. But then he takes you down, he keeps moving. Something is hard to control that pace. You can. You don't. If you play defense, you save more energy than if you try to be the aggressor and respond.
And even getting to the clinch is very difficult.
Yeah, you have no way to hold yourself there. So that was the biggest challenge for me in MMA is the speed, because I'm a very slow start fighter. If you look at my matches, I start very slow because if I go hard, I fatigue faster. So for me, that was the hardest part is to start fast.
What about on the ground? Is there something different, more challenging on the ground?
Being in the bottom, yes. There's punch coming.
How fundamentally different is jiu-jitsu with punches on the ground?
Changes everything. Everything.
Which parts?
The distance that you allow your opponent to be on you, the techniques that you choose to apply. You have to. Your body has to be aware of the punches, and you are a lot more limited on your attacks.
So you're known for your close guards. How does your close guard have to adjust? How does the positioning of your hands have to adjust when you're on the bottom of close guard?
So in the guard, especially in the close guard, you have to either keep the person very close to you, or you have to kick him away. Mm-hmm. That's in the guard is either I'm hugging you, or get away from me.
And in jiu-jitsu, you're allowed to have a middle.
Yeah, in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of you can allow the person to be.
What about getting arm lock or triangle submissions from the guard? Is that fundamentally different because you don't have the middle game?
It's much harder. There's barely no open guard in MMA, very little. Because the open guard, there's a distance between you and him.
Yeah,
there's a distance. How you cannot control. It's much harder to control that punch coming, and I have to position myself a way to block that, and it limited my attacks, my options of attacks.
Is there a reason? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you do open guard much in jiu-jitsu and no-gi. Is there a reason for that?
It's harder with the explosive person, because it's when they're moving fast, then you have to try to slow them down.
So you like guards that allow you to control the person.
Yeah.
And close guard is the ultimate control.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not ultimate control, but close guard puts you in a position that I'm attacking and you're defending. You cannot attack me from my close guard. We can argue that there might be one or two attacks, but it's like very, very, very limited, and depends who you're fighting against.
I hate the close guard. Like being on top, against a good close guard is very
No one
annoying.
likes. It's terrible.
It's
Yeah,
horrible.
it's one-sided.
Yeah.
So you're in the guard and it's one-sided. The person in the bottom has the advantage. I can be completely relaxed in my close guard, and I cannot be completely relaxed.
You know what the most annoying thing is?
Mm.
Is somebody who is both good and extremely confident with a close guard.
Yeah.
Because they have that smug energy about them. They know how much how much work it takes to pass this. Anyway, especially people with longer legs. Is there something you wish you did differently in how you started training in MMA, in that trajectory, in figuring out how to train, how to get good? Like, what have you learned about getting good at MMA from having done it? If you were to start now, for example.
I think I would have to dedicate it more. I didn't dedicate enough.
Both like literally time, number of training sessions,
Training, yeah,
but also mental.
training-wise, physical. Yeah, I think a lot more the physical part of it.
The strikes, everything.
The strike from the beginning. It's because, I mean, I love Jiu Jitsu. Like I truly love all the aspects of it: fighting, training, the practice, the competition. I don't have that for MMA, so it's hard to give your heart to it, something that you don't have the passion to it. Like Jiu Jitsu, I gave my heart to it. Like I did everything that I had to. MMA, I didn't do that. So that's why it was. I won't say it was wrong for me to have to do it, because I don't regret doing. I always, looking back as a kid when I decided to take jiu-jitsu for life, I already knew that at some point I would have to do MMA. There's almost like that's the path of a Gracie. When you're ready, you go do MMA. So
there was like
there
a
was no
duty
choice.
versus a love.
Yeah. There was not a choice. There was like, I have to. That's just the life I took, he will lead that way.
Are you proud of that step? Go against the natural love and towards more duty.
I think I don't regret it, because if I hadn't done it, I would feel there was something missing.
Yeah.
So I don't regret doing. I would regret not doing.
The tricky thing is the choice to go to MMA could have compromised your ability to win against Buchecha, and it didn't. And it's a fascinating case study. It still doesn't make sense to me. After all those years, you're able to come back and go against the best person in the world and beat him.
Yeah. And I had to, because the first fight we had, I had something stuck in my throat for a long time.
You think about that.
Oh yeah. I'm like, as soon as that first fight finished, I had said that got stuck in my throat, that I already, at that point, I knew I'm going to have to fight him again. I knew. I always knew. There's no choice. I have to.